yes, when I got this subject, I started looking at my own poems, and there was only one that really stood out as being absolutely about beautiful, at least. It's quite an old poem, and it's really about how being called beautiful is really helpful. Speak to me gently. Let your soft lips wander and graze across my cool breast, finding at the tip, erect and dark, this nipple that for you is all the food of love. Speak softly to me, and your mantra will open the gate, and I shall fall back defenseless, and in my surrender I shall be truly beautiful. So then I got down to it and thought, well, I'd better write something. And
Quite right.
I thought about the hairdressers, obviously. I don't come to Koko, I go to another hairdresser who's very good. Sorry. And there's this big screen over the reception area, which always worries me, and I wrote a poem called Rags. A motley army marches on the TV, unbowed, bony shoulders fluttering with silken rags, furs roughly slung akimbo, in their ghastly black-rimmed eyes a weary challenge, on their purple lips expressions born of hunger or of angst. Here a snarl of hate or fear, there blank depression. This hollow crew of men and women fix their smouldering gazes on the well-fed crowd below the scaffold that they walk, display the eerie beauty of their torn appearance, turn on scornful, fashionable heels, advance along the catwalk in formation, wheel. Oh, that Oscar Wilde should witness this strange ball. The wonder is that it is done at all. So then I started thinking about how I felt about beauty when I didn't have any at all, when I was 13 and a half. And it was a long time ago, and our models then were film stars, and they all were very, very curvy. So I wrote this little poem. And I also wrote a number of Clara Hughes, which I'll follow it up with. Clara Hughes' little rhymey little 4-line poems with a little twist in them. It's called, the whole lot's called Film Stars. I'm waiting patiently for my tits to get finished. Brigitte Bardot is beautiful, I think. I saw her in a film wearing this fluffy pink sweater with a tight belt. With awe, I saw clearly that her tits are finished. I know Mum says that mine will grow, but I look just now, and if anything, they've diminished. Ursula Andress, in a state of undress, was simply the best because of her chest. Shirley MacLaine was never too vain, not a beauty, not plain, jolly laid just the same. Young Betty Davis looked like my Aunt Mavis, her lips red and striking, her hips made for hiking. Sophia Loren attracted most men, her sultry expression, even with a dress on. But today, Kate Moss, clearly doesn't give a toss. Her beauty consists in her absence of tits. This is a little story. Again, this was written last weekend. It's called Beauty and the Beast. The most beautiful woman in the room placed her smoothly coiffed head carefully on one side, resting her cheek on a slender hand. She looked up from under her long lashes, her violet eyes alive with sympathy and understanding. Of course, she murmured to the squat, toad-like man, whose hunched shoulder almost touched her elegant elbow at the dinner table. I see your dilemma, but my husband would not allow it. He's looking at us now. Yes, I know, she went on. I did it for him, and I could do it for you now. Across the table, the most beautiful man in the room glanced towards them. And remember, she continued, looks are not everything, and that's all my talent extends to. Just one kiss, begged the hunchback. The perfect mouth of her husband opened, and he held up a warning hand. "Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit," he croaked. And finally, this is one of my really silly poems. It's called The Story of Jan, Who Gave Up Dieting and Found Love. A lady way beyond her prime used all her energy and time trying to conceal her age by dieting and subterfuge. Her friends said, "Dear, you're an example to us all with busts too ample," as they tucked into creamy gateaux, pie and mash, pistachios, fry-up steaks and plates of toast, competing who could eat the most. But skinny Jan was sad and wan, for what she wanted was a man. But when they took her out to lunch, a plate piled high would make her blanch. They found they couldn't make her smile, and left her after a short while. One day, by chance, she met a man as round as Punch, who laughed and sang and swept her off her tiny feet, cooked for her and gave her treats. And now Jan is so round and jolly, she looks back at her past as folly. She says it's a much better thing to eat and love, not dieting. And the moral of that is, food is the food of love.